Hi everyone, this is Stephanie Thomas
And I'm Mary Thomas
of Thomas and Thomas PC,
also known as the Sales Tax Sisters.
and we are here to talk about audits again. And
this is one of the most important decisions that you can make when you find out you're being audited, and it's one of the things that you need to decide very quickly. Well, you want to set the tone with your first interaction with the auditor. That decision is who's going to be your mouthpiece?
Yeah, who's going to be your contact with the auditor? And it's really important because one, you want to have one person designated the contact. You don't want an auditor to come out and talk to 10 different people, ask them the same question and get 10 different responses. That's not good.
Exactly, because it makes it look like, number one, you don't know what you're doing, or number two, you're trying to hide something. And you have one time to make a first impression. You want the first impression for the auditor to be that, number one, you're cooperating. Number two, you're honest. Number three, you're really, really going to work with them. And number four, you're going to make it as pleasant as possible for them. They're doing their job. If you're unpleasant, they're not going to go away. They have to report to their boss and say, hey, this is how this job is going.
Exactly.
So don't think you're going to intimidate them.
No.
It's not going to happen. Don't think you're going to make them go away. Don't think you're going to hide the ball and come out with a great result.
Or paper them so much that they won't dig and find out what's going on, because that never happens either.
No. And we talked about that whole, you can have complete total access to my system, is being a really big mistake.
It is a really big mistake.
So with all that being said, you don't want to pick anybody to be your mouthpiece who is, I hate to say the word.
Say it.
Rude.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't know how to play in the sandbox.
No.
They're unresponsive.
Yes.
Or they really don't know what's going on.
Or they have a short temper. You don't want that either.
Or they make stuff up.
That's right. If they don't know the answer, they make up an answer. Auditors are just like anyone else. Everyone knows. Sometimes you may know, sometimes you might not know. But the good thing is you need to have a contact who is honest and who, if they don't know the answer, will say, I don't know the answer right now. Let me get back to you.
The thing about it is that, like I said, this is a professional person who's out there to do a job. Most of the time, I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, that person's not out there to put you out of business. When they walk through the door, they don't have any skin in the game in terms of liking or disliking you. That's so rare. That is just so rare. But what you can do is you can mess up your reputation with the taxing authority by being uncooperative and being nasty. Because at the end of the day, people make mistakes. You know, some people get no tax due audits. Most people don't. People make mistakes, and you can let yourself off the hook for it. But the thing about it is that you don't want to exacerbate a situation by having someone go back to the controller and be like, "Ooh, these people, they're really nasty. I think there's something here. I think we need to dig some more because I'm getting 4 or 5 different answers. The person doesn't call me back." It's very common that you will have people for any number of reasons. So this doesn't have to be a nasty thing that's going on, where people will say, we need a statute waiver because it's taking so long to do this audit. It's not a great thing, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything's going wrong either. But what you really want is you want someone who is going to, number one, keep their finger on the pulse of the pace of the audit, because that's really determined in a lot of instances by you as the taxpayer. How readily available is your information?
That's true. But then you also have other things where it's just like any other relationship. It's give and take, and usually it takes you as the business owner and the auditor as well, because sometimes they get slammed and they have other things that pop up and they can't quite get to you in what you would think is the most timely manner. But it's always important to communicate with each other and manage expectations, and just let them know what you expect and find out if that's reasonable or not.
And that's going to really boil down to who you have communicating with them, and make sure that person, if it's not you as the business owner, and a lot of times it can't be you as the business owner because you just don't have the bandwidth, You want to make sure that it's someone who's not only going to be cordial and professional with the auditor, you also want someone who has no problem with communicating with you. Do not be in a situation where you don't know what's going on with your audit.
That is not the best. Yeah, that's exactly it. You need to be proactive too.
Yeah. You need to be talking to your contact.
That's
you
right.
need to understand what is going on with your audit, because this is your money. It's going to be coming out of your pocket. If there is any reason that your clients have to be contacted, you as the business owner know how hard it was for you to get that client. You don't want to be in a situation where they're ticked and they're going to work with somebody else because they didn't like their experience with you, because for whatever reason during this audit situation, they felt like they weren't taken care of. Most clients will work with you. Most clients understand what it is to be audited, and they're okay with kind of you smoothing things out. The thing about it is, what leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth is the approach.
Exactly.
And how did you handle it? So I think we're ending the end of this particular talk. Just know, number one, if you don't have time to do it, delegate it. Number two, delegate it to somebody who's really going to stay on top of it, be responsive not only to the auditor, but let you know what's going on. Number three, kiss the death. Do not delegate this and then don't pay attention to it.
No.
You need to know what's going on with it. And it is deadline driven. So there's going to come a time when deadlines are going to start kicking in. You need to know your deadlines. And a week before, and I like to say a week before the deadline, you need to be asking people, the deadline is a week out from now, where are we? Or 2 weeks out, where are we? You want to give yourself enough time to where if something's not happening, because things happen to people. Maybe your contact got sick. Maybe somebody in your contact's family got sick. It's still ticking. If they were really good and advocating for you, the state will typically work with you until they start hitting deadlines that they can't move. You need to be aware of that.
So, like we said, one of the most important things that you have to do is determine who the contact is with the auditor, and that will help determine how your audit runs. So I think that's it.
I think that's it, except for one thing.
What?
The contact can be internal or external.
Exactly.
Make a decision. If you hire a consultant, you want to make sure that, like I said, not only are they responsive to the auditor, they're responsive to you.
Yeah.
But it can be, just know you got a choice. You can have it internal, you can have it external.
Yeah.
Make sure with either choice that the contact can handle it.
Exactly. So I think that's it.
I think that is it, except for just one more tip. And I have one more tip.
What?
Make sure the person feels comfortable. They're not going to argue taxability, that they can sit back and listen, but that they feel comfortable actually being the contact. And that's a trick that a lot of people can sometimes miss. Don't give the job and responsibility to somebody who doesn't want it or doesn't feel comfortable with it, because they're probably not going to be effective.
Do you have another tip?
Have a good day, everybody, and thank you for looking at the video.
If you liked it, please thumb us up. We also love subscribers. So if you can, subscribe to us, and we will see you next time.
Hit the bell. And to everybody who's already subscribed, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Yes.